First tonight on our news live at 7, NIB is set to lose nearly $100,000 this year if it does not introduce a proposed rate hike, the latest from the minister responsible. But first, CARICOM leaders are in the capital for the 44th regular meeting of the heads of government. The Prime Minister and the CARICOM Secretary General meet before the highly anticipated event kicks off. And a local restaurant serving up something new for Valentine's Day. And then in our news at 7:30, why some Bahamians say they support a rate hike at NIB. Our news live at 7 starts now. Welcome to our news live at 7. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Candino Knowles. Stability for Haiti, among the top priorities of the 44th CARICOM Heads of Government meeting this week. We begin with our Christina Dragovich tonight, who joins us live from Bahamas, where final preparations are being made before the big event. Christina, what are we seeing right now?
Thanks, Candino. I'm here at Bahamas, but earlier this evening, there was a press conference at the office of the Prime Minister where Prime Minister Philip Davis revealed that any solution to Haiti's political and economic instability must come from within the region with the support of other nations.
That resources that are required to bring stability to Haiti is not within the remit of CARICOM at all, either singly or either collectively or individually. Hence, we need the support of other nations.
United States Secretary of State John Kerry and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau will be special guests at this year's CARICOM meeting, something PM Davis says should help in finding solutions.
What we in CARICOM have come to appreciate is that we do not have the resources to be able to deal with the Haiti problem ourselves, and we do need outside help. And that help is, we're looking to the North, Canada, and the United States to come to the fore to help.
But he made it clear that any solution to the crisis in Haiti has to be a Haitian solution, not an American, Canadian, or CARICOM solution. CARICOM Secretary General Carla Natalie Barnett explains who will represent Haiti in those discussions.
The representatives of Haiti at the official heads meeting would be the representatives of the government who are supposed to be here. There's an ongoing conversation that CARICOM is having about bringing all of the stakeholders together in Haiti, and I am expecting that matter will be further discussed among the heads when they meet.
What we seek to have done is to stabilize the country sufficiently enough to allow for a free and fair elections. And the path and journey to that is where the challenge falls.
Now, Candino, although there is a focus on Haiti, that will not be the only topic discussed at the meetings this week. Regional heads will also discuss immigration, the movement of drugs and guns throughout the region, as well as the impact the COVID-19 pandemic has had on our healthcare systems. Back to you.
All right. Thanks a lot, Christina. Our Christina Dragovich reporting for us live tonight from Bahamas Resort. And a little later, we'll tell you about how the sideline conversations the tourism minister says he's hoping for at this week's CARICOM meeting. Armelina Leonard is also at a reception for delegates, and we'll also check in with her soon. But for now, we're also learning the National Insurance Fund may be facing a grim future if an increase in contributions doesn't happen this year. Berthany McDermott has the story.
I don't want to shock Bahamians, but the reality is, if there is no raise in the contribution rate this year, the National Insurance Fund will lose $95 million.
This grim forecast from State Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, Miles Larota, comes days after Prime Minister Philip Davis said government is still trying to determine what to do. Last week, the State Minister told reporters Cabinet made a decision, though he could not reveal what the decision is. Today, he maintained the same stance.
I said last week that there has been a decision that has been made with regards to the increase in contributions, and that information will be, the details will be given in due time.
Larota also shared the breakdown as to how much NIB pays out monthly, which he says isn't sustainable.
The National Insurance Board will pay out $27 million each month in in pensions. We're collecting $23 million. That leaves a shortfall of $4 million a month. Times 12, that's $48 million. We're not even considered the industrial benefits and other benefits that are being paid out.
The Nassau Guardian reported that Cabinet agreed to a 1.5% increase expected to take effect July 1. There has been one NIB rate increase back in 2010.
So it sounds sexy that everybody has an opinion that one area is causing, whether it be management or whether it be administration costs. That is but a small part of it.
Now, when asked how much the rate will increase by or when that could become a reality, LaRota could not say. Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
All right, thanks a lot, Berthany. And talks of that rate hike at NIB has residents reacting. We'll have that angle coming up in Our News at 7:30. In other news tonight, a teen is being held without bail after he allegedly robbed a Domino's pizza delivery driver at gunpoint on February 2nd. The 17-year-old faced charges of armed robbery and receiving when he appeared before the juvenile court on Tuesday. The delivery woman went to a home through Bacardi Road to drop off 4 boxes of pizza valued at $74. There was 3 barbecue wings worth $38.25, a sandwich and 2 sodas when she was confronted by a gunman who demanded the food and cash. The robber took the food and $182 in cash. The teen is accused of receiving those stolen items. He wasn't required to enter a plea and has been remanded to the Simpson Penn School for Boys. He's due to appear in court next on May 17th. And Agua police have arrested a 25-year-old man in connection with an armed robbery on that island. Police say around 7 p.m. on Monday, a man was in the area of William Street when he was approached and robbed of an undisclosed amount of money by a man he knew. No word on when charges will be filed in that case. Well, we've got a whole lot more to get to in just a moment, but for now, it's time for your first look at temperatures, and meteorologist Greg Thompson is standing by in the Weather Center with your latest look. Greg, I'm looking at 74. Saw 70 yesterday. Looks like we're climbing again.
Yeah, we are getting back to the warm temperatures. There's a front expected by the weekend that might cool us down a little bit, but yeah, warmer temperatures expected for the remainder of the week. 74 degrees outside our studios right now in the partly cloudy skies. The winds are out of the east at 10 miles per hour and your feels-like temperature is at 72 degrees. Family Island temperatures tonight, it's cool, 67 in Freeport, 73 over in Marshall, Barbacoa, Allenstown, Bimini, 72. We pick up more 73s in Great Harbor Key and in Nicholstown, Governor's Harbor, 74. Here in the capital also 74. 73 in Kemps Bay and in Coburn Thompson, Salvador, 75 in Artistown, Cat Island, 76s in Georgetown. That's in the Exumas and Deadman's Key, Long Island. Further south, 77 Duncantown, Ragged Island chain. Pick up more 76s in Colonel Hill, Crooked Island, Delectable Bay, and in Abrams Bay. Matthewtown, Inagua, 78, and our neighbors to the southeast, Turks and Caicos Islands, you are 78 also at this hour. Satellite view, weakening frontal boundary, well to the south of the southeast Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands. High pressure dominating our weather. That's keeping us with a little bit of a breeze and warmer temperatures expected. That high is going to slide out towards the east. That will turn our winds more towards the east and southeast over the next day or two, and we should see some warmer temperatures climbing back by that time. That's your first check on weather. Stick with us and look at your extended forecast.
Still to come on Our News Live at 7, it's Valentine's Day, and one restaurant is dishing up something good tonight. And Bahamasair made millions during the holiday season, but what does that mean for the national airline's financial position? We take a closer look coming up. And later, if you live on Grand Bahama, road closures and detours may impact your drive home on Thursday. We'll tell you what you need to know when Our News continues. The national flag carrier Bahamasair making $9 million during the Christmas holiday. The news coming from Managing Director of the airline, Tracy Cooper. But despite the positive news, he says the company did not meet all of its demands last year.
We are right now negotiating with aircraft lessors to try and bring on additional airplanes so we could just simply meet the demand.
All right, now Bahamasair's booming business has airline executives wanting to add more flights. The only issue is they're saying they don't have enough pilots. Well, coming up at 7:30, we'll explain how they planned on addressing that. And with the start of CARICOM Heads of Government meeting, just a day away, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism and Aviation and Investment, Chester Cooper, says he's hoping for sideline conversations on tourism-related business. Cooper says Caribbean countries have requested Bahamasair start services.
More specifically, there have been a lot of talks about air connectivity between the various countries. Those conversations will no doubt continue. Many of our Caribbean counterparts have asked for Bahamasair to provide service to their countries. We're assessing the feasibility of these requests.
Cooper says the Prime Minister, who chairs CARICOM, and other members have had those discussions. He adds that there is significant interest in travel to the country, adding that it will boost our economy.
As delegates, that's going to be a significant boost for tourism. But I think overall it uplifts the spirits of the Bahamian people as we celebrate our 50th anniversary. This is an occasion for us to share some of our food, our culture, our hospitality to all of the guests who come from around the world. We're excited about this possibility. Prime Minister Davis is the chairman of CARICOM. It's most fitting that it's our 50th anniversary. CARICOM is chaired by Bahamian, and CARICOM is being held in the Bahamas.
All right, police announcing road closures for Grand Bahamas Junior Jalcanoe Parade scheduled for Thursday evening. The road closures begin at 2 p.m. and will affect East Mall Drive between Explorers Way and Adventurers Way, Pioneers Way between West Atlantic Drive and East Atlantic Drive, Mackenzie Street between Adventurers Way and Pioneers Way, and West Mall Drive between Adventurers Way and Pioneers Way. The parade was originally set to take place on Saturday, but was postponed due to inclement weather. Ministry of Youth, Sports and Cultural officials say all tickets previously sold will be honored on Thursday. When our news comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world as Grenada is set to deport 15 Haitian citizens in advance of regional talks over Haiti's political state at this week's CARICOM meetings. Plus, on this day in history, a portion of Bay Street was lit up with the flames of an early morning blaze in 2011. And a local resort is serving up a special experience in time for Valentine's Day. Our Jamila Mizik joins us live with the details when our news returns. This is our news. Welcome back. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. The U.S. military says critical electronics from the suspected Chinese spy balloon downed by a U.S. fighter jet off South Carolina's coast on February 4th has been recovered. Those electronics include key sensors presumably used for intelligence gathering. Chinese balloon, which Beijing denies was a government spy vessel, spent a week flying over the United States and Canada before President Joe Biden ordered it shot down. The incident has led to deteriorating relations between Washington and Beijing. The Center for Strategic and International Studies calling the incident a particularly brazen act by China.
I think there's still uncertainty about what those other three objects were. But hey, nations spy on each other. Balloons have been used for years to collect weather information, to do research. What's particularly brazen about what we've seen over the last week is that first balloon, it's a pretty big balloon, 200 feet, 20 stories tall, equipment underneath it that's been reported to be the size of 2 to 3 buses. That's hard not to miss.
Some 198 hours after last week's devastating 7.8 magnitude earthquake in Turkey, 17-year-old named Muhammad Inez Yenenar was finally rescued from the rubble of a building today. Local media reporting he was immediately placed in an ambulance for urgent medical care. A state-owned news agency also reporting his 21-year-old brother Baki was rescued right after him. Their condition remains unclear. The combined death toll in Turkey and neighboring Syria from last Monday's quake rose above 37,000 and is said to keep increasing. New Zealand declaring a national state of emergency on Tuesday as Cyclone Gabriel caused widespread flooding, landslides, and huge ocean swells. The storm forcing evacuations and stranding people on rooftops. Thousands were left stranded after canceled flights, while hundreds of thousands more remained without power. Prime Minister Chris Hipkins telling a news conference today the severity and breadth of the damage that New Zealanders are seeing has not been experienced in a generation. He says Australia and Britain have pledged support.
It has been a very big night for New Zealanders across the country, but particularly in the Upper North Island. I want to acknowledge the situation that New Zealanders have been waking up to this morning. A lot of families displaced, a lot of homes without power, extensive damage done across the country.
This doesn't compare with anything. This is just over the top. Really, like the thunder and lightning and everything last night was just horrific. So, but the devastation is just, it just makes you want to cry.
Meanwhile, 15 Haitian nationals who entered the island of Grenada as a tourist group on Sunday are set to be deported. The news from the Grenadian government, which says immigration officials have determined they would have been, that is, a burden on the public purse. Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell, who is also the Minister for National Security and Immigration, telling a news conference yesterday the group arrived on a flight from neighboring Trinidad and Tobago. Mitchell acknowledged that the political and economic situation in Haiti will be discussed at the 3-day CARICOM summit to be held right here in the Bahamas beginning tomorrow. And finally, from the region, Miss Cayman Islands Universe, Tiffany Connolly, has been stripped of her title following a summary court ruling in a criminal case against the Queen. Tourism Minister Kenneth Bryan says the decision follows her assault conviction and now means Miss Chloe Powery Doxey will formally be crowned as Miss Cayman Islands Universe and will carry out those duties for the remainder of this term. With the crown now being handed over, it is unclear whether she will receive the 4-year scholarship valued at $70,000 and a car, which would have been previously available to Connolly as the initial crown holder. Still to come in our news, today in history, find out interesting facts about the day that was February 14th and the Lieutenant Governor who signed the Consolidated Slave Act. Plus, Greg is back with your extended weather forecast. And then in our news at 7:30, an expert reveals how you can upgrade your massages at home. That's coming up when our news continues.
This segment of the news is brought to you by H.G. Christie in Grand Bahama, celebrating over 100 years of service in the Bahamas.
All right, and just for the benefit of our viewers over in Grand Bahama, we want to remind you about some road closures that are happening ahead of the Junior Junkanoo Parade scheduled for Thursday evening. Police telling us the road closures will begin 2 p.m. on the day and will affect East Mall Drive between Explorers Way and Adventures Way, Pioneers Way between West Atlantic Drive and East Atlantic Drive, Mackenzie Street also in that. That'll be affected between Adventures Way and Pioneers Way and West Mall Drive between Adventures Way and Pioneers Way. Now, if you want to get a look at those road closures, you can visit ournews.bs. The parade was supposed to happen last week, but was postponed due to inclement weather. The Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture saying that tickets previously sold will in fact be honored on the day. So if you were planning on attending, then you're in good luck. All right. Is the Bahamas a Christian nation? It's the subject of this week's opinion column, As I See It, by Tanya Smith-Cartwright. The author establishes up front that being in church doesn't make you any more of a Christian than standing in the garage makes you a Cadillac. She posits that being a Christian nation is what we've been taught from we were children, but with that, she questions, can we genuinely say that our leaders exhibit what was previously described, and who is governing us and ensuring that we keep our Christian principles as we are touted a Christian nation? If that piqued your interest, to read more, you can visit ournews.bs, and you can find a new column there every Monday. It's now time to turn our spotlight on events that shaped the day that was February 14th, including an early morning fire that destroyed the Betty K building. Take a look. On this day in Bahamian history, in 1797, John Forbes became lieutenant governor of the colony, replacing Robert Hunt, who had been serving as acting governor after John Murray, the Earl of Dunmore, had been recalled to Britain and fired while en route to England. Forbes' term as governor lasted less than 4 months, but in that time he signed the Consolidated Slave Act, which sought to improve the conditions of enslaved Africans, but also contained provisions to control their movements and activities. Less than 1 month after the signing, Forbes died on June 3rd, 1797. Then, more than 100 years later, in 1926, William Gray Wilson, who served as the 50th governor and commander-in-chief of these islands, died in Italy. Gray Wilson served from 1904 to 1912. February 14th, 1977, the Bahamas Union of Teachers Cooperative Credit Union was officially registered under the Cooperative Societies Act of 1974. The credit union started with 12 members, and the first deposit of $90 was made to the credit union's bank account in April that year. 4 months later, the first loans were made to members. In 1982, the name was changed to Teachers and Salaried Workers Cooperative Credit Union Limited, opening membership bond to all persons employed in the Bahamas. And finally, on this day in 2011, the Betty K Agency Limited was destroyed by an early morning fire that spread to other businesses on Bay Street, including the Bacardi Building, Tempo Paris, the pub, and the Adderley Building next to the Churchill Building, which housed the Cabinet Office. Firefighters and more than 50 Defense Force officers were called to combat the fire and close the street in downtown Nassau. All right, well, as many are celebrating their evening with that special someone, our Jamila Mizik is live at Marcus at Bahamasair Fish and Chop House, and she tells us that those spending their Valentine's evening at the local restaurant will enjoy dinner with a view. Jamila, that looks like a really, really beautiful scene behind you.
That's right, Ken. It is the Universal Day of Love, and for some, that means celebrating with a dinner for two. I'm here live at Marcus at Bahamasair, where earlier I spoke to General Manager Nikia Heald, who told me all about what they have to offer tonight.
Marcus Fish and Chop House at Bahamasair has been open from July 2021. We feature our semi-private room, which seats up to 22 guests, our beach garden, which seats up to 80 guests, and our rooftop, which is the Marcus up top, which seats up to 200 guests, perfect for cocktails and buffet receptions.
She tells us those spending their evening at the restaurant will enjoy a special dinner for two.
We'll start the menu off with a amuse-bouche, which is the bluefin tuna. Then we'll have the appetizer, which will be the black truffle risotto. Then for entrees, you'll have a choice of the local lobster thermidor or the beef Wellington. And then, which is very special, at the end we'll end dinner with the red velvet lava cake, which is served with strawberries and cream.
But what sets Marcus apart from the rest? Sous Chef Keenan Roll says it's their quality team and quality service.
We value high quality ingredients, so on a night of love, we think you should just come down and then share it with your loved ones. So we have like lobster, we have beef, high quality items which you will enjoy.
And if drinks tickle your fancy for the month of February, you can ask for their signature drink, Soul Queen, inspired by the legendary Aretha Franklin.
Now, Ken, I had one of those drinks earlier, and let me tell you, it's to die for. So I'm going to have another one in a few. But for now, I'm live here at Marcus at Bahamas. Back to you in studio.
All right, make sure to bring me that Soul Queen and that red velvet something that you talked about there.
Red velvet lava cake.
Definitely want to try that. All right, thanks a lot, Jamila.
All right, no problem.
Reporting for us from Marcus at Bahamar on Cable Beach. If you want to watch that story and for all of today's top stories, again, you can visit ournews.bs. That's going to do it for us in News at 7. Joining us now is our Talia Hall with the latest headlines. Talia, happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day, Ken. You have on your red tie tonight. I see you're...
You called me out the other day.
Yeah. And the food looks great in Jamila's live cut-in as well as that drink.
Absolutely.
I hope she brings us something
I know
back.
She's coming up again, so we'll get to see a little bit more about what she's doing down there.
All right. Thanks so much, Ken. Well, all eyes on the Bahamas as we are hours away from the highly anticipated CARICOM meeting. Our Marlena Leonard is at a reception happening this evening. And it's Valentine's Day. Our Jamila Mizik is still live from Bahamar.
First tonight on our news live at 7:30. Regional leaders meet before the official start of CARICOM meetings here in New Providence. Our Marlena Leonard joins us live a little later. And why some Bahamians say they support the proposed NIB rate hike, plus the husband of the late Kenise Jarvel delivers on her wishes to get more people to give blood. And diners get a special treat at a local restaurant for Valentine's Day. Our Jamila Mizik joins us live a little later. Our news live at 7:30 starts in a moment.
Welcome to our news and thank you for joining us. I'm Talia Hall. U.S. Chargé d'Affaires hosting a welcome reception in honor of CARICOM this evening, and our Marlena Leonard was there to see some of the leading American voices visiting CARICOM meetings this week. We'll check in with Marlena a little bit later. But first, as regional heads convene in the Bahamas for the 44th Caribbean Heads of Government meeting, it will not be the first time the country has served as host. In fact, former Prime Minister Hubert Ingraham served as CARICOM chairman on 6 different occasions during his tenure. Former Minister Brent Simonette says one of the things the Bahamas knows is how to host.
We have a fantastic core of people that deal with that, not only in foreign affairs, but throughout the government organizations, through NAD and all. And so we do, having traveled around the world in government, we do a damn good job. We do a really good job. We give the visiting dignitaries here a good show, whether it's the police force band, whether it's the food we serve them, whatever. We give them and gave them a lot better attention than many other countries I visited in the world.
The opening ceremonies are set for Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. at the Atlantis Resort, while the main sessions are scheduled for Bahamas Convention Center beginning on Thursday. Simonette broke down what goes into planning meetings on such a large scale.
The issue of chairmanship of CARICOM, it's similar to Caribbean Tourism Organization, a number of other. It's done on a rotation basis. I think the current Prime Minister is the current chair. A lot of it is done by the headquarters in Guyana. They do the agenda, they come and set up the meeting. So a lot of it is done by the bureaucratic staff or the permanent staff of CARICOM. We obviously have to do the whole question of rooms, transportation, security, the local stuff that would apply, the entertainment, the bells and whistles that go along with it.
Now, this week's 44th Caribbean Heads of Government meeting is attracting not only regional leaders, but also top officials from across the world. Marlena Leonard has this angle in this report.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, as well as an American delegation, will be flying down for the 44th CARICOM Heads of Government meeting. Minister of Foreign Affairs Fred Mitchell says one of the main draws for international parties is the opportunity to discuss the crisis in Haiti. When asked about concerns that the presence of these North American powerhouses may shift dynamics among regional leaders, the Foreign Affairs Minister says the beauty of the meetings is the fact that leaders can get to understand each other on a personal level.
This is where the heads of government, the people who actually make the decisions, get to meet. And that's the importance to the world leaders who are coming, is to find out face to face what is the view of the actual leaders of the country, quite apart from the technical people or the ambassadors or the ministers of foreign affairs. So I don't think the dynamic is going to change, but it makes a difference when you're meeting face to face.
Mitchell also explains what he believes is motivating the North American leaders.
None of the developed countries, given the recent experience of their interventions in Port-au-Prince, have the appetite for going in without the support of the CARICOM region. And so many countries have said, well, Haiti is part of CARICOM, what is your view about this? And our view is that this has got to be a Haitian solution. This cannot be imposed on the outside. As painful as it is, it must be a Haitian-led solution.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Marlena Leonard.
Well, our Marlena Leonard joins us now as U.S. Charge d'Affaires hosting a welcome reception in honor of CARICOM this evening. Marlena?
Hi. Yeah, you know, it's been a really amazing evening. We've already realized that this meeting in particular was going to have more of an international angle as opposed to a regional angle. But while there may have been concerns that some of the international voices, especially those larger players like the U.S. or Canada, may drown out some of the smaller island nations, when former Secretary of State and now Special Presidential Envoy for Climate, John Kerry, got up, he said their focus for this week is to listen. And I feel like that was a big deal for a lot of people who may have had concerns about maybe them telling people how they should feel. He's saying they're ready to just sit down and listen to the people that are most often impacted by these things. And of course, our Prime Minister Philip Davis kind of reiterated the importance of paying attention to those addressing those changes for our small island nations. He went as far to call us an ocean state because of the reality of our territories, seeing that things like Dorian or just in general, we have so much ocean. When the ocean rises, that's all we have. We don't have anything higher than most of our areas are 3 meters above sea level. So that was their focus today. Now, we weren't able to get any of them for side interviews, but the actual official opening of CARICOM starts tomorrow evening at Atlantis, and that's at 6:30 p.m. And of course, Our News will be there. Back to you, Atalia.
All right, thanks so much, Marlena. That's our Marlena Leonard reporting for us live. While prosecutors have dropped their case against a man accused of murder and attempted murder, Richard Reed was on trial for the June 2018 murder of Korea Musgrove and the attempted murder of Austin Pinder when the DPP ordered the case stopped. The charges stem from a shooting in Pastel Gardens. Police said the victims were in a car when a gunman shot both of them. Pinder ran for help and the gunman fled in the car with Musgrove, whose body was found discarded in bushes off Cowpen Road on July 1st. Reed hasn't been acquitted of the charges and prosecutors can bring the case back if they want. A 44-year-old resident of Linden Pinland Estates is in hospital after being shot yesterday. Police say it happened in the Kemp Road area. That's when the victim, who was inside his car in Parkgate Avenue, was approached by 2 men on a red moped. One of the men produced a handgun and opened fire, hitting the victim in his back. Police say the victim then drove himself to the Wolf Road police station where he reported the matter and was taken to hospital. Residents are reacting to a possible increase in rates. Our Joshua Williams has the story.
The majority of residents we spoke to say they would support an increase in the NIB rate, saying it is needed based on the times that we live in.
I really don't see anything wrong with that, depending on how much they're going to do. I don't know the exact amount they're going to do that, but I feel that is necessary. You know, anything that you do, be it your home, you have to invest into that.
These retirees say they believe a rate hike should translate to increased benefits.
If they increase it for some people, I'm a retiree, and that's where I probably would get more money at the end of the month. So I guess so.
But you're paying it for your future moments. If it stays to what it is, when your time comes as a senior to reap, if it ain't there, then what? So the increase is important.
Then there is this man who says while he supports an increase, the upper class members of society should burden the cost.
They could even come up with a more smarter solution, like for rich people to pay a certain extended tax for the rich. Like those people that have big businesses and making millions and hundreds of millions of dollars, they need to go to them for the money instead of just going and trying to get it from the poor people.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
Sunny and pleasant conditions in the capital today. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is standing by live in the studio with a look at our current conditions. Good evening, Greg.
Yeah, thanks, Natalia. Yeah, we did have some sunny conditions around the islands, and we're going to continue to see that trend over the next couple of days as a high-pressure system remains in charge. Right now, it's cooler out this evening. 73 outside our studios under partly cloudy skies. Your winds are out of the east at 12 miles per hour, and your feels-like temperature is at 72. As I mentioned, ridge of high pressure across us will eventually slide out towards the east. There's a weak front near the southeast Bahamas, but that will be gone. And that high-pressure system will continue to generate some very nice warm conditions through the weekend before we see another front get in here. That's your first check on weather. Stick with us. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on our news, confirmed. The health minister gives details after 22 people are quarantined on Exuma due to COVID. And giving the gift of life in memory of the late Kenise Darville. And calling all pilots. The national airline wants to step up recruitment exercises. We'll tell you how on the other side of this break. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Michael Darville confirming a COVID-19 cluster in Exuma resulting in 12 positive cases, which includes 5 students from the L and Coakley High School. Darville says 22 people have been placed in quarantine, adding that health officials were sent to the island this morning. The health minister says it's an isolated cluster and the matter is under control. Deputy Prime Minister and the island's Member of Parliament, Chester Cooper, shared this.
Continue to exercise sensible precautions, continue to sanitize, continue to be very diligent about your surroundings. If you can avoid large crowds, you do so. I'm confident that the Ministry of Health is actively engaged with the processing and monitoring of the incidences that have been reported.
It appears as if business is booming at Bahamasair. Managing Director Tracy Cooper confirmed that the company made millions of dollars during the Christmas holiday. But despite this uptick in business, he says there's still a challenge.
We made over $9 million in revenue for December. That is comparative to what we were doing back in December of 2019. So that was very encouraging for the airline.
Cooper admits the company did not fully meet all of their demands in 2022.
Right now, negotiating with aircraft lessors to try and bring on additional airplanes so we could just simply meet the demand.
And with their fleet expanding soon, the managing director also revealed that acquiring pilots is a challenge.
The reason being is that simply the skill set or the availability of the skill set to become pilots, it's a costly thing. And so a lot of persons don't go into piloting, say, as much as other careers. And so what we're looking for is to, and we're in conversations with the union, is to expand the age limit for the pilots as flying for Bahamasair, and to have this as a combination with bringing in new pilots so that we could meet the expansion process.
He says in 2022 a recruitment exercise was held for pilots, but he says that did not go as well as they liked.
So we're going to continue to go out there and look for pilots. So if there are any pilots out there who are looking to want to join Bahamasair, by all means, let us know. But the Bahamas as a whole has a limited amount of pilots that we could get our hands on.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by RF, your local investment bank. This has been your Financial Market Minute. To explore the best performing mutual funds in the Bahamas, visit our website at www.rfgroup.com.
When our news comes back from the break, making good on his late wife's wishes, the husband of Kenise Darville garners support for a blood drive in her honor.
Plus, coming up in sports for tonight, the GSSA government school basketball playoffs are underway. We'll tell you which teams moved on and which ones called it a season. That's all coming up in sports.
And later, how you can use the sense of touch to reconnect with your partner in a more meaningful way. Stay with us.
This is our news. Welcome back. Over 200 individuals registered for a blood drive held in honor of Kenise Darville, who died days after a viral video of her calling for a change in the healthcare system locally was shared. Her husband, Gerard Darville, says the blood drive was a vision of his late wife, who made plans up to 6 months ago to carry out donation initiatives. We'll have more on this story in our news later this week, but for now, you can read the story at ournews.bs. Sudden death playoff action underway in government school hoops. Meanwhile, Grand Bahama native Buddy Hield has a tough night at the office. Here's Marcellus Hall with a check on sports.
All right, thanks a lot, Natalia. Welcome to our sports on a Valentine's Day, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. Well, yesterday, the GSSA, Government Secondary School Sporting Association, holding its first round of sudden death playoffs in basketball that's taking place at the Kendall Odds Gymnasium. Only 4 teams would move on to the championship round. Let's take a look and see exactly which ones moved on. GSSA basketball playoffs getting started yesterday with sudden death action in all 4 fronts. Taking a good look at how things are. 1 versus 4 senior girls matchup. First of all, C.I. Gibson, they took down R.M. Bailey in a good one, 43-40, ends up being the final. Very good game on this side of things. Meanwhile, in the junior girls, it was C.H. Reeves. They beat S.C. McPherson 48-10. On the junior boys side of things, D.W. Davis, they topped A.F. Adley 39-35, another close one. And on the senior boys side of things, C.I. Gibson making short work of C.I. Walker 92-62, ending up being your final. On to the NBA, where last night Buddy Hield and his Indiana Pacers, they took on the Utah Jazz. And, well, even despite this game being played in Indiana, it seemed as if the Jazz made themselves right at home. They get the win 123-117 as Jordan Clarkson and Lauri Markkanen leading the Jazz to the win here. Meanwhile, as for our guy Buddy, the Grand Bahama native, he played some incentive minutes last night, played 28. Short night as far as shooting is concerned, 8 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. Again, struggling as far as the offense is concerned. He did have 1 steal on the evening to kind of fill out the stat sheet, but as far as the offensive endeavors, hoping to get better, shooting just 3 of 13 from the field. And there it is, your check at sports here on this Tuesday. I'm Marcellus Hall. Back to you, Italia.
Still ahead on our news tonight, our Jamila Mizik joins us live from Marcus at Bahamar with a taste of Valentine's Day dining. And we enjoyed cooler temperatures last night, but will it be similar tonight? Well, Greg has your extended forecast coming up when our news returns. Welcome back to our news. The Day of Love is almost over, but lovers are out and about celebrating their significant others. Our Jamila Mizik joins us now live from Marcus Restaurant at Bahamar, where the Valentine's Day meals continue. Jamila, how's the food?
Everything is going well, Italia. Just like you, I am spending my Valentine's Day here at work, but you know what? That's okay. There's no place else I'd rather be than right here at Marcus at Bahamar. And I have here with me General Manager Nakia Hield, who's going to tell me all about what they have to offer tonight.
Hi, good evening.
Here at Marcus, we are celebrating Valentine's Day with our Marcus Taste Menu, where we are offering, we have the Amuse, which is a bluefin tuna. Then we go into the appetizer, which is the black truffle risotto. Then we also have an entree, which will be the local lobster, or we also have is the beef Wellington. Then we have dessert, which is my favorite. We have is the red velvet lava cake. Then we also have strawberries and cream.
And I know that you guys are booked and busy tonight, but I'm sure that persons will have another opportunity to come and see you guys here at Marcus, right?
Yes, unfortunately, we are booked for tonight. However, we welcome everyone to dine with us. We're open for lunch. We're open from Monday to Friday. We have lunch from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Then we're open for dinner from Monday to Sunday. We're open from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And then we also have is our Marcus up top, which is the rooftop that is open on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sunday. And that's from 5 p.m. to 12 a.m. We have that with a live DJ on Fridays and Saturdays. And of course, brunch we have is on Saturdays and Sunday with a live entertainment on Sunday.
All right, so if you're not here tonight, then you have another opportunity to come out at Marcus at Bahamar. I'm going to bring you guys something back when I return. But for now, live here at Marcus at Bahamar, I'm Jamila Mizik. Back to you, Italia.
And Jamila, just before you go, how's the food so far and how are you enjoying your Valentine's Day?
It's going well so far. The food was very good. I'm going to have another Soul Queen when I'm done with this. And like I said, I'll bring you back something when I come back.
Please be sure to bring back that Soul Queen for Ken and I, okay? Thanks so much, Jamila. That's
No
our
problem.
Jamila Mizik reporting for us live from Marcus at Bahamar. Well, partly sunny and breezy conditions expected to continue. Greg is back in the Weather Center with your extended weather forecast.
Thanks again, Natalia. Welcome back, everybody. Our final check of weather. Ridge of high pressure still dominating our weather, and that's keeping us rather nice for Valentine's Day. We will continue to see this warm trend continue through the rest of the week as that high pressure slides out towards the east. It's going to be paving the way for a frontal boundary now across the southeastern United States that should get in here sometime by late this weekend and into early next week. A couple isolated showers expected, but nothing really to talk about. Behind that high pressure will build back across the area for the upcoming week. Nothing happening out there, just a couple of spotty showers lurking near the southeast Bahamas. Everything will be quiet throughout the remainder of the week, and as I said, frontal boundary expected by the weekend. Boating, still a challenge for boaters. Small craft caution still in effect. East to southeast winds at 15 knots. Seas running 3 to 5 feet, but they will still be up to 7 feet and some easterly swells. Your low tide will be at 8:05 tonight. For the southeast Bahamas, caution flag few down there as well, but the winds are a little stiffer. Easterly, 15 to 20 knots. Seas running 4 to 7 feet in some easterly swells. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In your extended forecast, quiet weather through Friday. Temperatures will be back into the low to mid 80s. Saturday, we expect a frontal boundary to get in here with a couple isolated showers, and temperatures will not take much of a dip for the upcoming week. That's a look at your Valentine's weather. Back to Italia.
And Greg, I see you have on your red tie in honor of Valentine's Day.
Definitely.
Some great weather tonight.
Thank you.
If you have any plans, right?
Yep. Take the wife out.
Okay, sounds good to me. Thanks so much, Greg. And finally, on this Valentine's Day, love is in the air, and one spa owner is hoping to teach couples the art of massage therapy this Valentine's week. Marlena Leonard has the story.
Soothe Spa has been officially open since December 2022, and proprietor Hanya Sweeting decided to use this Valentine's Day as an innovative way to reintroduce her brand to the world. Her idea? Hosting a class for couples to teach them massage techniques to use on each other at home.
Massages with my love. I just wanted to do something out of the box. You know, a lot of times for Valentine's, people want to do date nights and you get all dressed up, you do the makeup, the hair, and all that. And so I wanted something a bit more relaxed, something where you could just be more, you know, down to earth with your partner. It's bonding time, and then it's something fun you can do, and, you know, something different.
But Sweeting assures us it's not a class with pressures or tests.
It's not that kind of thing. It's going to be a very relaxed environment. We're going to be on the floor. You have to dress comfortably. I'm just going to be guiding you, giving you pointers and tips on what you can do with your partner. And it's not to get you to be a professional massage therapist. It's really more of a bonding mechanism. It's going to be real sensual, real romantic. And so, you know, it's going to give you ideas as to what you can do with your partner at home on your own.
Sweeting held her first class called Massages with My Love over the weekend, but says she's excited to do more if people are interested.
I do want to continue on, and if not every Valentine's, maybe twice, 3 times a year, and make this an ongoing thing.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Marlena Leonard.
Thanks, Marlena, and thank you for joining us for Our News tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Natalia Hall. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening and a happy Valentine's Day.